Part 1. If the sleeves of your knitted sweater have stretched out after a few wears or washes, don't worry. There's a simple trick to shorten them without cutting, without using a sewing machine, and it's super easy to do at home. First, fold the sleeve up to the length you want. Adjust it so the fold lies flat and even. Now bring your needle up from the inside of the sleeve. Use a basic running stitch to make small, even stitches. This stitch will hold the folded part in place with the rest of the sleeve. Just keep stitching around the sleeve until you complete the circle. Once that first line of stitches is done, make another line of running stitches just above it, close to the folded edge of the sleeve. Be sure both lines are straight and parallel. This will make the next step much easier. Now, bring the needle up between the two lines of stitches. With the eye of the needle, slide it under the first stitch on the left line and pull the thread all the way through. Next, slip the needle under the second stitch on the left line and cross it diagonally to go under the first stitch on the right line. Pull the thread through again, then move to the next stitch on the right line and bring the needle under it. Continue by going under the second stitch on the left line. Keep working this pattern under the third stitch on the left, then under the second stitch on the right. Continue stitching the same way around the sleeve. You don't need to pull the thread too tight, just keep the tension even. This stitch will form a neat decorative border for your sleeve. When you reach the starting point, push the needle to the inside of the sleeve, tie a small knot, and trim the excess thread. Now your sleeve is shorter, and it even has a nice little accent at the edge. How do you find this tip? If it's good, give me a like before going to the next tip. Part 2. Have you ever noticed that after wearing your knitted sweater a few times, the body starts to stretch and hang down? Don't throw it away yet. There is an easy way to shorten it without using a sewing machine. Start on the right side of the sweater, along the side seam. Use that seam as your center line, and mark 2 straight lines that run parallel to it. The distance between the seam and each marked line should be about 4 centimeters. Bring your needle up from the inside at the top point of the left marked line. Pull the thread through so the knot stays hidden on the inside. Now insert the needle down into the side seam just a little lower than the first stitch. Next, bring the needle up at the top point of the right marked line. Then insert the needle down into the side seam again, slightly below the previous stitch. Bring the needle up once more at the left marked line. Continue stitching in this same pattern along the 2 lines you marked. Try to keep each stitch even so the result looks clean and neat. When you finish this set of stitches, take the end of the thread and pull it firmly. As you pull, you will see the stitches gather together, shortening the fabric. Adjust the folds so they look even, then tie a small knot to secure the thread and trim the excess. Now move to the left side of the sweater and repeat the same process. Follow the lines you marked, make even stitches, and pull the thread to tighten them. Once you have shortened that side as well, tie another secure knot and trim the extra thread. Your sweater body is now shorter, and it even has a unique gathered detail that gives it a stylish new look. Part 3. If you notice a small hole in your knitted sweater, don't throw it away just yet. Try fixing it instead. Thread a piece of embroidery floss through your needle. Bring the needle up from the inside of the sweater and pull the thread all the way through so the knot stays hidden inside. For the second stitch, insert the needle back down about 3 millimeters away from the first one and bring it up again right at the edge of the hole. Loop the thread under the needle and pull gently to tighten the stitch. Next, push the needle down once more about 3 millimeters away from the previous stitch. Pass the thread under the needle again and pull to shorten the stitch. Keep stitching in the same way all around the edge of the hole. Make sure each stitch is evenly spaced so it looks neat and tidy. When you have stitched all the way around and formed a small circle, continue with the same stitching method, but this time you do not need to insert the needle into the sweater itself. Instead, weave the needle through the loops of thread that are already there. As you continue stitching, the threads will gradually pull toward the center, covering the hole completely. It will look like a little sunburst pattern with tiny rays spreading around it. When you are done, push the needle to the inside of the sweater and tie a small secure knot to hold the thread in place. Trim any extra thread. Now the hole is gone, and in its place you have a cute decorative detail created with just a few simple stitches. Part 4. Here is another simple way to mend a small hole in your knitted sweater. Use a piece of tailor's chalk to draw a heart shape around the damaged area. Thread a colored embroidery floss through your needle. Bring the needle up from the inside at the top point of the heart. Now insert the needle down at the bottom point, which is the sharp tip of the heart, and bring it up again at the middle of the left side of the heart shape. Pull the thread gently to tighten the stitch. Next, insert the needle down just to the right of the previous stitch at the bottom tip and bring it up on the opposite side of the heart. Then push the needle down at the middle of the right edge of the heart and bring it up again close to the first stitch you made on the left side. Continue stitching the same pattern, following the heart shape you drew. Keep your stitches even and adjust them so they lie flat and smooth. As you work around the heart, you will see the stitches overlap slightly, creating a pattern of small V-shapes that form a unique woven texture. When the stitching is complete, it will cover the hole completely while forming a pretty heart design. Push the needle back to the inside of the sweater, tie a small knot to secure your thread, and trim away any excess. Now the hole has disappeared, and in its place you have a lovely heart-shaped pattern that adds a charming touch to your sweater. Part 5. For the next tip, I will show you how to embroider a simple and beautiful flower. We will use 3 shades of blue embroidery thread, going from dark to light like this. Start with the darkest blue thread. Bring your needle up from the back of the fabric and pull the thread all the way through. Lay the needle flat on the surface and wrap the thread around it 3 times. Then insert the needle back down next to where you first brought it up. Pull the thread gently to tighten and form a small raised knot on the fabric. Now bring the needle up again right beside the previous stitch. Wrap the thread 3 times around the needle and push it back down through the fabric. Continue making the same type of stitches, keeping them even and close together. When you finish 2 full rows with the dark blue thread, tie a knot on the back and trim the extra thread. Next, use the medium blue thread. Bring the needle up just beside the row of dark blue stitches. Wrap the thread around the needle 3 times before inserting it down again. Pull the thread gently to form the same kind of knot stitch. Continue stitching 2 or 3 more rows to create the second color layer of the flower. Once done, push the needle to the back, tie a small knot, and cut the excess thread. Finally, use the lightest blue thread. Stitch the same way as before, adding 3 or 4 more rows. Decrease the number of stitches in each row so the top becomes pointed, forming the shape of a flower petal. When you finish, tie off the thread on the back and trim it neatly. Now take green embroidery thread to stitch the stem and leaves of your flower. Use small running stitches for the stem and teardrop-shaped stitches for the leaves. Tie a final knot on the back and cut off the extra thread. In less than 5 minutes, you have created a lovely embroidered flower on your sweater with just a few simple stitches. Part 6. Here is another way to embroider a flower that you can try. Thread a green strand through your needle and tie a knot at the end. Bring the needle up from the back of the fabric. Then start stitching a series of small, straight stitches that connect to each other. These stitches should form a line about 6 to 7 centimeters long. This will be the stem of your flower. Now bring the needle back near the beginning of the line to make the leaves. Use teardrop-shaped stitches to form each leaf. You can overlap 2 or 3 stitches to make a wider leaf. Then add another leaf slightly higher on the left side of the stem. Push the needle to the back of the fabric, tie a small knot to secure the thread, and trim the extra. Now you have the stem and the leaves ready. Next, use purple embroidery thread to stitch the flowers. Bring the needle up just to the left of the stem. Insert it down right next to where you brought it up, and bring it back up about 3 millimeters away. Loop the thread under the needle and pull gently to shorten the stitch. Push the needle down again to secure it. This will be the first petal. Bring the needle up close to the base of that petal and make another similar stitch right beside it. These 2 petals form one small flower. Continue stitching in the same way along the left side of the stem until you reach the top. Then move to the right side of the stem and repeat the same steps to make another row of flowers, creating a balanced look. When all the flowers are done, push the needle to the back of the fabric. Tie a knot to secure your stitches and cut away any extra thread. And that is it. A simple and lovely branch of flowers is complete. You can try this method yourself and let me know how your result turns out. Part 7. If after sewing, you notice that the knot at the end of your thread is large and visible on the front side of the fabric, it might mean you are tying the knot the wrong way. Today, I will show you a simple trick to make your stitches look neater and cleaner. First, thread your needle as usual and pull both ends of the thread so they are even. Now wrap the thread around your fingertip and twist it slightly so that the thread loops around itself. Pull the end of the thread through the loop to create a small knot close to the end. Use a pair of scissors to trim any extra thread to keep it tidy. Now you can start sewing your first stitch, but do not pull the thread all the way through yet. Leave a short section of thread on the back side just like this. Next, insert the needle back down right beside the spot where you first brought it up. When you pull the thread through, use the needle to pass under the short section of thread you left earlier. Then pull tightly to secure it. Bring the needle up again to the front of the fabric, and you will see that the knot is now fixed firmly in place, but hidden neatly inside the fabric. It will not show on the surface like it usually does. With this method, your starting stitch will always look clean and professional, and you can continue sewing with confidence. And that's it for today's sewing tips. You've just learned a few simple ways to repair and decorate your sweaters, from fixing tiny holes to creating lovely embroidered flowers. With just a needle, some thread, and a bit of patience, you can give your old clothes a brand new look. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more easy sewing ideas. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.